Welcome to the grand finale of our journey here on the Gears 5 DLC, aka the best part of the game.
Fuck, I forgot to Keegan to remember the name of his team. Whatever,
Team Scorpio.
we're going with this.
Scorpio.
Which also, it's also another thing that
Hold on. If this is Team Scorpio, which was the code name for the Xbox One X, where's Team Anaconda? Because basically, back when they were in development, the Series S and Series X's code names were the Anaconda for the Series X and the Lockhart for the Series S.
Okay, I did mention already what to, in a previous playthrough what were the actual name of the teams, because we were searching if it was like a beta squad and we didn't find it. So let me see if there is one. No Anacondas. We get an Alpha Company and A Company 26 Royal Tyrant Infantry. Bravo team. Of course, it's a classic. No, nothing of the sort. But in the meantime, something that I found potentially in the meantime, I don't know how much of it is actually a thing, but it might be, considering the way the name is pronounced, is that for the civilization, which is from the Wayland, that we mentioned in some of the previous part. I wonder if the name is supposed to be an intentional Torment 2 reference from the Alien series, because you don't know the major company that's tied to the events of all movies called Wayland Yutani, so it feels sort of a mushing between the two names, but it might be just coincidence.
I'm still convinced that the Scorpio team is a reference to Project Scorpio.
Oh, but most likely. Although remember, the comic line was done before this, so I wonder if it was just also the author of the book wanting to be cheeky with that.
True, Tio does have a bit of a point with the Hivebusters comic coming before that. Heck, who knows? Maybe Microsoft named the project name after that.
No. I don't mean that. I mean, yes, he probably did name the team after the Scorpio project, which was already the time, but it was a thing that happened in the comic necessarily, not.
Let me see, because
the game made out.
Project Scorpio was originally started somewhere in 2016, so that the console could release in 2017. So let me actually check when the comic line started. Busters.
It was after Gears 4, I can be sure of that.
Well, yeah, that's obvious. Well,
yes, dude.
Sorry, I'm thinking out loud.
Oh, actually, never mind. Apparently, according to the Gears of War wiki, the first issue of Hivebusters was released in March 2019. 2 years after the Xbox One X came out, so they had. So yeah, it's very plausible that the Team Scorpio thing was a reference.
Why did I add these Gears of War characters to Fortnite?
Well, honestly, too.
Why not Dumo?
Well, there's a thing to.
Wait. Would it make sense that they put an Xbox character to Fortnite?
Isn't Master Chief in Fortnite?
I was about to mention also, the Spartan armor manages to have Chief being more acrobatic. The characters' gears, by their own definition, are supposed to be more clunky and taking advantage of the cover. So a game like Fortnite is pretty much nothing like they could do.
But they're just skins, Tia.
Yeah, they don't really put the characters in. They're just.
We have Batman.
Tio. We have freaking Chun-Li in Fortnite.
She
has a beautiful ass.
That's what I mean in terms of actual agility. Like, it's like if you put Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, like you can see him leaping down and dabbing over the closest enemies.
Honestly,
that'd be hilarious.
Well, okay, technically, Tio, Nemesis is pretty fast, honestly.
Honestly, Tio, I personally prefer that over Gears Pop, to be honest with you.
No, I don't mean that, Pedro. I just mean in terms of, actual practicality of movement. Like, you sacrifice... the actual if you take just the skin of the character, but you technically sacrifice how they actually behave in the original game.
Yes,
yeah, this is a game with
You know what Gears Pop is, right?
No, we're not. We already mentioned that. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. But back to the thing.
It's that anyway, Shiro. It was basically a horrible experiment they did with Funko Pop. So that's all you need to know.
Okay. We'll tell you more about it later. For now, though, Tio, Fortnite is a game with even Thanos in it who, again, by your own recollection, too agile here. Again, Fortnite is all about having them skins in there. Don't matter how logical it is.
We also have, what's her name? Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, who doesn't wield guns.
Well, okay.
She can from when she actually manages to actually detach from the machines.
Yeah, she can actually.
Cool.
Kratos doesn't use guns. Okay, this statement is done because by the time we're making this public, it's not gonna be anymore. But you know, you should. If you manage to actually get Horizon for free, you should have still. Played.
Here's the thing. One thing I like to say also, this is also another thing where you can tell that they were probably a bit short on ideas for this DLC because this particular set piece is kind of a rehash of what they did with the lava one, because it's the same basic concept. Like you have a platform moving, and there's a thing in the middle that you can use to take cover.
I can see what you mean, but it probably is a bit even duller than the lava one, because the lava one, at least it was constantly moving and rotating onto itself, so you were never sure where you were supposed to be, and there were shit throwing around, both left and right. Here it seems more stable. Go on, Joe.
I'll admit, I actually find it weird, though. I mean, you think that the lava variant would have been the one that was more... you think the lava variant would have been the one that was, more towards the end of the game, because that feels more climatic, whereas this feels like a boat ride, on a boat and through the swamp and all that.
Insert the Lonely Island joke.
What time are you guys at?
7:01.
What he says.
Alright. I'm paused at 7:34.
All right.
Down to 7:11.
You're gonna have to wait a bit then.
No problem.
All right. In the meantime, might as
Based off
well.
of what's on the pause screen, we'll still be on the boat
we're
anyway.
still in the middle of the fog or anything.
It's just like the lava section again.
Again, like you said, a bit more dull. All right, almost there.
All right.
And
click.
Go. Now, that's not the thing. Why is this war even trying to stop us? We're actually going to actually get the bird, hunt the bird. It's also attacking them.
Okay. Anyway,
well, to be fair to you, the Locust's mentality is see a human, shoot a human.
All right. Well, this is going on. Basically, Shiroi, and I'm giving you an image on the chat now. Gears Pop was a mobile game where we had Funko Pop versions of the Gears of War characters. Basically, it's a card menu-based mini game, I think.
Turned out better than others.
What now?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. What?
Some turned out better than others.
Okay. The game recently was discontinued and I think taken down. Was it?
Yeah, it's a common fate for any mobile game that doesn't manage to reach a decent, stable enough player base.
I think it says something that we had a whole discussion about this in an earlier part of our commentary of this game, and Shuri doesn't remember at all. That's just how unmemorable Gears 5 Pop is.
Well, to be fair, we just briefly reminded her we're fine. We're done with that. Moving on.
That's my point, though.
Sure.
I mean, honestly, Gears 5 as a franchise had a pretty botched run, honestly, from the main game to the side games, except for Gear Tactics, which... Yeah,
well, Gears Tactics is not attached to Gears 5, Jova.
Well, it kind of is, because the protagonist of that game is Kate's father.
Okay, but it wasn't like an initiative to be necessarily, like Gears 5 Tactics, it just still stands on its own.
It kind of was. If you'll recall from E3, they had sort of announced this Gears Pop game, Gears Tactics and Gears 5 as sort of a joint project of sorts here.
True, but it was for the franchise as a whole. It's not like we were doing like something, say, the compilation of Final Fantasy VII or even Alliance that Square Enix did.
Well, yeah, but still, all were connected to Gears 5 through some way, shape, or form. Granted, Gears Tactics wasn't as highly connected as many people would love to assume, but it going over Kate's father, like, come on, can you think of any reason for it to be Kate's father other than us trying to drop more stuff on Kate? Because her father doesn't really show any other purpose in the actual. Oh shoot! I don't think her father's even mentioned actually in Gears 4, and I think really the main offering he has in Gears 5 is that he is who Reyna hooked up with to have Kate. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gears Tactics ended up being a better story, but we can't change the fact that that game was mainly meant to help prop up Gears 5 in the eyes of Steph, honestly.
The story, like I said, the story of Gears Tactics is serviceable. Like, it's fine, it's solid, it's competent, like, there's nothing inherently...
Funnily enough, from what I've heard, Kate's father is a better protagonist than she is.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's nothing special, but at the same time, there's nothing inherently wrong with him.
Wait, remind me, did Gears Tactics also have a different writer?
Yes, but Tom Bissell. But however, unlike with this DLC, Tom Bissell was still involved as a supervisor.
Maybe he wasn't as well. Okay, you know what? We can never say for sure if all the writing stuff is Tom Bissell's fault. It's just that again, he has been the consistent factor against all the sucky Gears stories. That
he was a co-writer in Judgment. He was the lead, and he was the lead writer in both 4 and 5. So yeah, he is the common link.
Is he the J.J. Abrams?
Oh no.
That's more like Rod Ferguson.
Yeah, and honestly, J.J. Abrams at least had, I'd say, a better track record before he started to have the downfall stuff here. Tom Bissell, the one thing I know for sure that's good that...
bird up.
Final boss.
Yep, that's right. This bird can dig.
Okay, so the Wakaatu...
It really does feel like a Monster Hunter boss, like Deji was saying.
Well, I'm at the very least glad it's something original.
Hey, you wanted an enemy that digged underground? There you go, I guess.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm not complaining.
Welcome to Gears of Monster Hunter.
Yes. Okay, so notice those green, I guess, pouches on his face. Those are the things you have to shoot.
Those are the sacks that he uses to create venom, to spit these venom acid being that he spits.
It's basically attack those weak points. Basically, those are the fuck me spots. Basically.
I can see that. Jesus.
Nah, screw this. When Monster Hunter comes to Xbox One, just get these guys and put them in DLC as DLC.
That Monster Hunter world.
Rai seems to be the more updated version, but a port of World and Iceborne wouldn't technically hurt, I guess. Again, I'm not as into in the franchise. I should ask some of my friends who actually are in.
Okay, so basically the rest of the battle takes place in this particular area. Take cover in whatever you can, and make sure you shoot its pouches or whatever they are.
Also, I really hate the sound of his wings. It sounds more like an insect than a bird. This thing is an abomination. It needs to be put down.
It looks like a giant insect, though, kind of.
It's a giant insect with a beak.
I'm sure there's some fan out there of it that makes it look cute.
It's not.
Well, maybe we could have a Gears Pop version of it.
Okay, it feels complex to make sure you make a pop out of it.
Pedro. I said look cute, not but ugly.
Alright.
I know, Mac.
Okay, Tia, since you've played Monster Hunter,
Actually, okay, remember that my experience has been terrible, technically speaking. But go on.
Okay, I was going to ask, what's your experience with Monster Hunter?
I played the PSP games, which according to the community are the worst of it they are.
Did
so,
you
hooray!
Enjoy them?
No, because they broke my fucking analog of the PSP. And I really hate that. Like, I wanted to give a try to the 3DS games, but I was so scared that I was gonna break the analog of it. So I was like, okay, just wait for a home console release, and we'll give it a try.
The 3DS games are way better than the PSP.
Oh no, I know that. I know all the hype and everything. In fact, they're the ones who actually revitalized the franchise technically.
Time to gift Tia Monster Hunter World on Steam.
Dej. even if I appreciate the gesture, but my toaster cannot run that for saving my life. So
My computer probably.
I will play it only on PS4 probably.
My computer might be able to.
Okay, cool, but you're not TM now, are you?
Yikes.
I've given you enough games.
But even so, that my Steam library is still full of games that my backlog still has trimmed. So like again, appreciate the gesture, but it would be a bit wasted for different reasons.
Okay, so he wants Cuphead, the Banner Saga Free, Legend of Heroes, Threat of the Skies, the Skya, Phantom Brave.
Okay, Deja, if you want, I can just put a link in the description of my actual Steam wishlist. There's no need for you to actually read it.
I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay, let me talk a bit more about this boss fight mind as well. The way that the fuck me spots, acid spots are presented around the peak, it does remind me a bit, slightly a bit, of the final boss of Dead Space, which has this giant mouth and inside has this like crown, which has like this almost spherical position of the weak spots that you have to shoot. Still, like again, I actually like this idea for a final boss. It's not just like another Lotus monster or something like that. It's actually an autochthonous species of Sarah, which again helps with the lore building. Again, between this and the main and both 4 and 5, we probably got to know a bit more about Sarah, technically speaking. Again, there is the argument that it might not have been really the worthy experience, considering how most of everything else has been but fucked. But there is that, I guess.
I'll admit, it might have been nice to get a Gears game that takes place during not entirely peaceful times, but maybe a time where not everything is going to complete and utter crap.
Well,
that's the thing, Jova. It's called, well, at least it used to be called Gears of War. So
I mean, Gears of Peace wouldn't exactly sell, would it?
Well, unless we take like the Star Wars spin-off approach and we call it something like that, like name of the character, a Gears of War story. I don't know. Like, and we use like the first act to flesh out the peaceful times before transitioning to the war period. I do believe that there is potential to do something, but I also have to agree with Pedro. It might be also a bit too complicated.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I do get the complications of it and how arguably a game of this franchise would be tough to, portray if, trying to make an entire story based off of the peaceful time, because, well, then, where's the conflict? Where's the reason why you're doing all the bang, 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 shooty, runs, and all of that? Like, I get it. What I do argue with, though, is like, it would have been nice to have seen this new government in place here before things go.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that you don't actually have to completely deplete its life gauge, like just like to a small amount, and then the script finishes off the boss. It's weird.
I suppose the idea is like, well, you sort of run it down.
I guess in terms of story, we still needed to be not dead to extract the venom or some shit.
Transform.
Oh, because it was mutated by emotion.
Light. As the feather.
So that's interesting. We see the effects of emotion on other life beings.
Put up one hell of a fight. You, think it'll live?
Yeah, I do.
Aww.
It's a good day. Everyone.
That is
surprisingly. I managed to get that shot. I know nobody saw that happen, but you were just asking for it.
That said, we still need its venom for testing purposes.
It's just a bit of a needle prick. That's all. Done.
There you go.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting change of pace for not everything to have to be killed in the end.
If I had to guess, this venom is used by the team doing their comic run. If I had to take another loose guess. Okay, between the music and the fact that they were doing the venom thing, it did remind me of one of the montages from CSI where they actually analyze the stuff. masks.
They should have played Led Zeppelin.
No, so no, that we're supposed to do like in a Battleship. We're supposed to put AC/DC.
I was referencing Spider-Man: Far From Home. I was like,
Okay.
oh, I love Led Zeppelin. When I was
okay.
AC/DC.
We ready for this, Scorpio?
If I don't make it, I want you to know it's your fault, and I'm gonna fucking haunt you.
How's
Deal.
your nerves, Major Howe?
Now let's see the best.
What the hell was my
The way it's cut, it kind of looks like it's like a let's look at all the best scenes from the movie.
See you on the other side.
Just another day at the office.
Oh, they get voluntary snatches to get into the hive, so we can blow up from the inside.
If you want to
And
see
the
how this
adventure
turns out,
continues.
go check. If you want to see how that turns out, go check out the Hivebusters comics.
Honestly, you know what? I could dig this kind of side project. You know, basically a squadron whose main tactic is to literally go to the source of each of these locusts and bust up hives while other characters are out doing other stuff. Okay, fine.
Again with this
You
stupid catchphrase. Sorry, catchphrase.
want to go fast?
get
Go. If
the
you wanna
shit
go
out
far,
of
go
here.
together.
All right. Go ahead, Joe. Final thoughts.
Yeah, honestly, this DLC is a much-needed, brighter ending on our Gears 5 commentary overall. Like, even the ending is an interesting subversion of things, you know. It was honestly a good venture with the DLC in this regard here and there. The music was a much-needed step up. The characters are better. Not flawless, mind you. And I do agree that there are, admittedly, some bouts where it does feel like we took a bit of a leap in character development, which sort of borderlines on character upheaval. But overall, I feel it's good for something that overall is trying to set itself up as a prequel for the comic book line far enough. And good enough, it sets stuff up fairly well, I'd say. Again, I'd say it's overall a good ride here. What I also like is the new gameplay mechanics it introduces here. Again, by all means, take some notes from this and bring them into Gear 6. Stuff like the character upgrades, how each character is unique. And please, just add in an ability to switch which characters we play as. Like, sure, yeah, maybe for certain sections, designate which characters we need to play as for story's sake. But otherwise, I feel like, if anything, this DLC is great proof for why we should just allow players to switch the players up on the fly here. That being said, yeah, the story's interesting, the characters are interesting, and I'll admit, it did do a good job of getting me interested for the comic book line. And like I said, I pretty much prefer these characters over the new characters for Gears 4 and 5. So, hey, if per se Kate ends up dying at the start of Gear 6, and you feel the need to bring these guys in as the new protagonist, sure, go right ahead. Heck, even Cole's daughter arguably has more character than Marcus's own son. In this one bit of DLC, goddammit.
What you're saying is Cole is a better parent than Marcus.
Well, based off of the fact that his daughter wasn't screwed up by their relationship, yeah. Bad, yeah.
Meanwhile,
overall,
you see Marcus and Aang in a bar.
First time.
Alright.
Good. Anyway, but yeah, it's a good time, and it's the best thing of Gears 5. If you weren't fortunate enough to get Gears 5, at the very least, do yourself a favor and get this DLC.
Alright, go on, Dish.
Okay. I mean, overall, I think it's fine. Just fine, to be honest. There are good things, you know, the gameplay, bits and pieces of the story, and well, the graphics, obviously. I mean, it's a game made by the Coalition. At the very least, graphical fidelity is something they get right. But to be honest, some of the other characters are just kind of there. Most of the story, well, I didn't really find most of the story all that engaging, to be honest. And Mac, ugh, fuck Mac, seriously. there's being there's being a stressed out former civilian in a war, and then there's Mac. Seriously, mate, I get it, you're stressed, but you're in a fucking war. Shut up already. I mean, imagine if Marcus was like that.
Well, Marcus is not a
Yeah,
civilian.
that's shocking,
but, yeah.
horrifying, isn't it?
No,
Stunned
because
into
Baird
silence.
was kind of like that, just without an accent.
But Barrett at least shut up about it every once in a while.
Okay, I will say that Baird was definitely much better written than Mac, though. In the original trilogy, at least.
I can agree. Well, okay, to be fair, yeah, in that regard, Baird had a lot more time to his character than Mac did as well. So, yeah, I mean, obviously he was the better written.
Go on,
Okay,
Liz.
and basically the whole game to me just comes off as basically Gears 5, but not done as badly. But there's still a lot of room for improvement.
Definitely.
And hey, maybe if Gears 6 does that, then who knows? We might have something on our hands. But as for now, it's just an average DLC. It's not the worst. It's not the worst story I've ever seen in this series. That honor still gladly belongs to Gears Judgment. And in fact, I'm going to say that for Gears 5 as a whole. Yeah, Gears 5 story isn't good. It's got a lot of issues, but I'd rather have that than fucking Judgment.
I can't blame you. I still find Gears 5 the worst story, but Judgment definitely is a contender.
Not sure how much of a hot take that is, but...
Oh, no. It's a lukewarm take. Like I said, there are reasons to argue that each of the post-Gears 3 games have the worst story for one reason or another.
I mean,
Gears 4 was just dull. Gears 5 was a little bit more interesting, if only because there was a lot more to tackle. This DLC story is just kind of there, and but Judgment just fucking pisses me off.
All right, Dej.
Yeah, this looks really fun. I like the characters. I'm invested in what's happening. It's not a perfect story, but I really am. I really did enjoy my time with this.
All right.
That was probably the best thing to come out of this game.
Yep, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
It really was.
All right, you done, Dej?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shiro, since you brought it up.
No, that's really it. Honestly, it was a lot better. It was a lot more fun. Some aspects overstayed their welcome a little bit. And that's it. Hopefully they can learn from the feedback for this, I guess.
Teo?
Sure. Yeah, pretty much the highlight of the new era. This is everything that I probably wanted from the base game and more. Like I said, improvements over the gameplay, specifically exactly kind of what I wanted and even more, thanks to the Teams World mechanic and the actual abilities that you can upgrade. I really dig that. Also, oh no post-credit scene. But the actual more
dog symbol though, what could it mean?
It's frozen Java like Act 2. It's the more actual banter between the characters, and okay, there is no that much new enemy variety. Like Pedro mentioned, there's like a sniper enemy, and I don't remember if it was also in the campaign or not. But also the highlight, of course, is the giant poison bird at the end. Again, it also helps with the lore, expanding ulteriorly a bit to the world of Sarah, understanding what these characters were doing instead of, being just generic American, knockoffs from 80s movies. So it's pretty neat. Mac, I get that Mac is kind of an acquired taste, but I kind of enjoyed his brashness. And Keegan does tell him to shut the fuck up eventually, so we actually do start getting development. But like Pedro mentioned, the development feels a bit abrupt because of the length of the DLC. Very clearly, this needed an extra hour to digest a bit more this kind of transitioning. Not too much, mind you. I think like an extra episode, extra chapter would probably be fine to complete better the transition. But alas, it is what it is. I definitely would love to see more of these people in the next game. And even not the excuse of just kill Kate and focus on these guys. Be a bit more creative. Have the story make sure that Kate maybe gets separated from her team for one reason or another. We had plenty of excuses in the past, and gets to accidentally stumble into these guys and has to join them, for a trait of the game. It would be also interesting to see how these kind of personalities clash with each other. And who knows, maybe they can get enriched from the experience, as in Kate. But basically, overall, like I said, definitive improvement. Not sure if $20 is really worth the entire package. But if you find it on sale, and you already had like the base game thanks to Games Pass or anything, if you find it on sale, I say that you should definitely get it, because among the DLC stories that they say for different games, this is probably one of the better ones.
It should be said too that you need to also buy Gears 5 to play this. So
true. But a lot of people these days still buy just
Games Pass.
Not just that. Okay, I get the logic, Jova, that if you have Game Pass, you might get DLC for free anyway. But I mean, as in, if you bought accidentally like the vanilla game because you find it used somewhere, but that didn't include the DLC. That's what I mean. Like in that kind of case. Still, that's pretty much it for me. Definitely the highlight for this new era for me, at least for now.
Right. For me, it's very serviceable, very fine. It works well. There are some issues with it, but at the same time, it is a big improvement over what we've had before. So I guess I shouldn't complain too much. I'm not entirely hopeful on this being the beginning of an upward trend, because I still see no evidence that Tom Bissell is out. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic. Very cautiously optimistic.
For the sake of argument, I'll say we don't even have to get rid of Tom Bissell, but maybe have this guy from the comics as one of the new main.
Oh, definitely, Jova. I'm just not entirely I don't have much faith that will be that fortunate. So
yeah. I don't blame you.
All right, we'll see. For now, that's Gears 5. I'm not doing Gear Tactics, like I said, because not really my thing. Maybe somebody else can volunteer. For me, for Gear 6, well, we'll see how that turns out. We'll cover the trailers, maybe. Why not? Why the fuck?
By the time we're ending this publishing, the E3 conference will be around the corner. I don't think personally we should expect that, because the coalition, like we mentioned, did posted recently that they're strictly focusing on using the Unreal 5, and general expectations would be probably for announcement like next year, not necessarily this one. But who knows? We'll see.
I mean, hey, if Rare could put out the first trailer for a game that even they didn't know was going to turn out, who's to say the coalition can't?
We'll see. See ya.